Hello, fellow preppers. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Let's see, it is Tuesday, April 30th, the year 2013, and what I've been watching. You see, it had some rainy days here, so been watching a few videos, picked them up at the library. So let's see. Devil in the Flesh, Rose McGowan. Well, it's one of them teenage flicks, you know, murder. It was an okay movie. I mean, don't go out of your way to see it. Walmart, the high cost of low price. Excellent video. You must watch this video. Remember that ghetto physics? They talked about pimps and hoes. Walmart's a big pimp. Do you realize that Walmart's the largest employer? Private employer? Did you also realize that most of Walmart's employees are below the poverty level? Most of Walmart employees are below the poverty level. Let that sink in. Desperate Hours. Mickey Rourke, Anthony Hopkins. It's an okay flick. I watch it. Wasn't that great. I mean, he's an escaped convict, and you know, the police chase him. I mean, there's really not much to it. 10 items are left with Morgan Freeman. A good flick. It was short, only 82 minutes, but it was fun. I mean, a couple things made you think. I would recommend watching it. The Departed. Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg. Good flick. Intense. I mean, it can show you how messed up things really are when you talk about the police. Crime. I would recommend it. Talk to Me. Now you might wonder about some of these flicks. Well, what I do is at our libraries, you can go online. If there's a movie you want to watch, you can order it. But sometimes somebody else might have it checked out, so it might take a week or two to get to you. So when I go in the library, if none of my movies are in, I'll just pick a shelf. And so I was in the T shelf. Got this on Talk to Me, inspired by a true story. Now, what's funny is, it's a good flick, is that it's about this radio station, WOL, out of Washington, D.C. Well, that's where I grew up. So this movie brought back a lot of memories because it was during a time that I was living in that area. So it's one of those movies, not for everybody, but if you've got any ties to D.C. in the late 60s, mid to late 60s, a definite good movie. Super Size Me. All about McDonald's. Once again, pimps and hoes. McDonald, big time pimp. Now, this guy was a healthy person. I mean, really healthy. They decided that he was going to go on the McDonald's diet. McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 30 days. Nearly killed him. But it's a great movie to watch, and it makes you wonder. We got this government, we have this agency called the FDA. Why does the FDA allow things that aren't healthy to be sold to us? I mean, of course, I'm one of those type of people, hey, let people make their own choices. I don't want the government dictating to me. But if you have this government agency that's set up to protect the people, then do your job. I mean, what's the reason we have these sugary drinks on the market? What's the reason we have, you know, these burgers with all this fat on the market? And why do people buy them? Well, see, companies like McDonald's know why. That's part of that advertising. Back to the pimps and hoes. They know how to get inside our head and put those ideas in there. And basically they become the puppet masters, and we're the ones who's getting our strings pulled. Good flick to watch. Smoking Aces. Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman. Let's see. Andy Garcia, Alicia Keys, Ray Liotta, a couple others. Jeremy Piven, Ryan Reynolds. Pretty good flick. Kind of twisted a little bit. It's about this guy who's an informant, and then all the bad guys are sending out different hit people to kill him. And of course there's a big gunfight near the end, but it's a pretty good flick. Tetro, a Francis Ford Coppola movie. It says Coppola's best since Apocalypse Now. This movie is slow. It's 127 minutes long. The thing is, the ending. You really don't see it coming. Maybe you could put it together, but you really don't see it coming. But it is just slow, 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 slow. I'm glad I sat through to the end, otherwise I would have just wasted the time. But, you know, maybe the last 27 minutes makes up for the first 100. Tears of the Sun. Bruce Willis. Okay, he has to go over to Africa and rescue this lady, him and his boys. I think he was in either Navy, SEAL type, or Special Forces. Yeah, he's a SEAL. Anyway, it just shows the brutality of man upon man. You know, massacre, genocide, and all that kind of stuff. Shows how our government values some people and could care less about others. Makes you question those making the decisions. Not a great flick, good flick, worth watching. I don't think it'd be a waste of your time. But what's funny is, after watching this one where it was about brutality of man on man, kind of has a little political statement there, I watched The Code. Now this is a movie about dolphins. Now, did you know that dolphins are actually whales? Now, I'm sure most of you, if you're old enough, you remember to Save the Whales and all that. Well, now we got Save the Dolphins. Once again, pimps and hoes. You got the fishing industry bamboozling governments, telling them everything's okay. And then you got the scientists saying, hey, if we keep going the way we're going, we're going to be fished out 40 years from now. And it shows some of the slaughter. So if you got little kids that like dolphins, you probably don't want to let them watch this movie. But once again, it's important. So it's an important movie. I'm not a tree hugger, save the whales kind of guy, but I understand it. And I realize, once again, it's all pimps and hoes. It's all who's got the power. But there's this one scene in the movie where this guy says, you know, governments, these committees, associations, they never do a dang thing. It's always up to, you know, some individual that has passion, something to that effect. It's almost worth watching the movie just to hear that one quote. Because you can see how even when somebody presents the facts with truth and evidence, how these government officials will either turn a blind eye or just push them aside or have them arrested because they don't want to deal with the truth. They just want things to keep going the way they're going and line their pockets. So anyway, that's what I've been watching. So hope you guys been enjoying your movies, and remember, don't run out of popcorn.